Hello again, guys. I'm back to do another video. Um, this video is basically about. Give me 1 second. I need to look at my notes. Bringing awareness to yourself. Self-awareness. And the only way you're going to do that is that you have to take time out for yourself. You have to take that alone time out for yourself. I'm going to light this Palo Santo just to, clear things up. But awareness of oneself is a key element of knowing who you are and why you're here. A lot of people don't know that. Being alone is what brings awareness, because we can't be aware of ourselves when we are around a lot of activity. And I'm going to tell you, being in the country is like the best thing when it comes to finding yourself and being aware. With being in the city, we are bombarded. Say it again, we are bombarded by the ley lines. Ley lines attend to, when there's so much energy and frequency that is going through the air between electronics, and we're talking about power lines, we're talking about cell towers, we're talking about, even it's even more so worse now with the 5G. So it makes it much more harder for people to chime in. It makes it much harder for people to chime in. And it's not easy to chime in as it was before the 5G towers came in. We are bombarded by computers, cell phones, all electronics, TVs, radios, um, anything that can put out a ley line. And that's not to mention what's happening with the coronal mass injections and stuff like that. That's a part of it as well. But in order to get to see oneself, you would have to take time out for yourself. But this is why I mentioned about taking walks in nature, you know. And before I go any further into this video, I'd like to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And if it's night where you are, hopefully you're having a great night. I'd like to say thank you for my subscribers, new subscribers, and old subscribers. Thank you very much for tuning in, watching, sharing. It's greatly appreciated. So, those that are new, thank you for watching. Please push the like button so you can return the energy. And I know there's a couple there that I know that do come like my video, watch my video, comments. I'm seeing everything. I see who's coming and who's not, and who's liking my videos and who's not. Well, I don't know who's liking my videos, but I know the ones that respond, they like at the same time. So um, I want to thank you for liking my videos and returning the energy back to me for the algorithms. I greatly appreciate it. And those that are up far are up that are far abroad in other countries, please leave me a hello and where you reaching out from. I would like to reach my hand as far as I can, as far as I can across this world. So thank you for listening and watching. Now back to what I was saying. Um, we're being bombarded by all of these things that are happening in the celestial realm and also on the planet. Um, and it's getting more and more harder to chime in when it comes to chiming into your higher self. And some people like, well, how can I get away? You know, I got children, I got this, I got that. But this is what I can promise you. And this is what I did. Go in your room alone and sit alone. No TV, no nothing. Matter of fact, if you have TVs, unplug all the appliances, everything. Unplug everything that's electric inside your room. Um, and sit on your bed. Close your eyes. And basically just feel what's around you. But at the same time you're feeling, meditate. At the same time that you're meditating, you want to take it back to a time when you were a baby. You want to breathe in through your nostrils, blow out through your nostrils, don't blow out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nostrils and blow out through your nostrils. But when you breathe in, you don't breathe in through your lungs, you breathe in through your stomach. You breathe from your stomach because this is how babies lived in that liquid that you have in your stomach. Or you say water, because they were breathing from their stomach, not from their lungs. So this is what you do. You take it back to a time when you were a child, when you were a baby just in the womb. This is your breathing mechanism. You hold 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000. Let go. Breathe again through your stomach. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000. Then you let it go. You concentrate on the breath. When your mind starts to move about and starts to go around and move about, bring it back to the breath. Because what you want to do is stop the monkey mind. You want to stop the chatter in your head. Don't worry about bills or anything else. Don't worry about all these other distractions. Everything around you is no distractions. You continue this breathing until you are no longer thinking about anything but that moment and what's around you, what you feel. And this way you'll get to know who you are. This is how I did it. I learned how to breathe first because breathing is the most important part when it comes to meditation and also finding out who you are. I'm not going to say find out who you are. It's going to say what your purpose is, but it's going to say who you are. You're going to get to know who you are. You know your thoughts. You know your daily thoughts. Your daily thoughts. And also, if you have any negative thoughts, Own them. Own those negative thoughts. If you have negative thoughts, own them and ask for forgiveness for those thoughts. If you have hatred thoughts, own them, ask for forgiveness, and then um, just whenever you have a negative thought, just own it and ask for forgiveness each time. And then when it comes to if you're using profanity in your head, get to the point to where you start till you stop and correct yourself in a way of because profanity has a lot to do with it too. Because you want to clear your mind, you want to clear everything out, you want to clear everything. So you want to have positive thoughts. But you want to, if you're going to have positive thoughts, but see, during this time when you're doing this meditation, you should not have any thoughts. So the thing is just to remove all thoughts and mostly concentrate on what's around you and what you feel. And so you can't do this when you're bombarded by people. You can't do this when you're bombarded with children. And I'm not saying you can't do it, but you can do it. But you just have to take that time out. But the best place to do this is not in the city. The city is bombarded with everything, all electronics, everything. And especially when the 5G towers came in, it's more harder to chime in at this point. I was blessed, I was lucky that I had 6 months of being able to do this when my ancestors sent me to the country to be able to do this. And it's more easier for me now than it was back then. It's not easy trying to chime in here in the city, but I know if I go to the country, if I go to a place where there's heavily trees and it's all nature and birds, you can hear all this stuff going on. I know that I can chime in without any distractions. But the thing is getting to know yourself, being aware of self, being aware of what you speak in your head, and ask forgiveness for it, and push it away. Just I don't own it. I don't own it. You know. Just ask for the Holy Spirit to forgive you for that thought process, because it's about turning off your mind, turning off everything that goes on in the world. And this is how you get to know oneself. This is how you do that. This is how you get to know oneself. And it's called self-care. This is how you create self-care for yourself. This is how you are pampering yourself. You're taking care of yourself. This is self-care. Being an empath, for me, I can't be around large crowds of people. If there's large crowds of people, I get to the point I want to get out. I want to get away. I don't want to be around a large crowd of people because I don't like people touching me. And it's not that they're dirty. It's not that they're filthy. It's just that I don't know what energy that they carry with them. I don't know what baggage they bring, brushing up against people and stuff like that. I don't like that. So I try to keep my distance from crowds. I won't say that I'm claustrophobic or anything like that. in small spaces, but I just don't like a lot of people, and I don't like passing through crowds because you don't know what energy you're grabbing as you walk through, you know. And like I said before in one of my other videos, people carry the most darkness from the knees down. They carry the most darkness from the knees down to their feet because everyone carries trash wherever they go. Um, but it was the same thing I mentioned about grounding, because when you ground, you put your feet to the ground, you know, that will help to eliminate a lot of the bad energy and baggage that you would carry with you. Um, but being aware of oneself, you know, this is how you do self-care. You know, this is what's important. You know, um, those that are not in a relationship, I would say spend time, and those that are in a rush to be in a relationship, I would say learn how to love yourself first before you can love somebody else. And when you love yourself, then you can love someone else. But until then, you won't, if nothing, any relationship you have won't work out, because if you don't love yourself, how are you going to love somebody else? Those that are alone, you know, it's good to be alone, because when you're alone, that is a time that you can't lose yourself. You'll be in your own element, you know, you'll be in your own element. When you're alone, you're in your own element. And that is an element of peace, an element of um, it can be stagnant. It can be stagnant of being alone, but it doesn't necessarily mean that stagnant is a bad thing, because at this point you're getting to know yourself. You're getting to love yourself. This is self-care. Loving yourself is self-care. You know, like I said, being in nature, it's self-care. You know, so many things. Uh, let's see. Yeah, this is one way that you learn about yourself. You know, this is one way how you learn who you are as a being. You know, and then too, being alone, you can find out what your purpose is. It just depends on how sincere you are in learning what your purpose is, why you're here on this planet. Being alone is it's crucial. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's crucial having that alone time. When you're with someone, you need to take out at least an hour. If you have children, and you have to take at least an hour out of that weekend. You have the kids all week. You have a husband, wife. Have them watch the children while you go, you know, go and be alone. But you need at least an hour time to be alone. And don't be afraid to talk out loud. You know, don't be afraid to talk out loud to the Holy Spirit. Don't be afraid, because that's one thing we have to do. We have to speak out loud. I mean, of course, people may think you're crazy, but if you clasp your hands together, basically, you know, and then people will look on and say, okay, well, that person's just praying. But you have to surrender to Spirit, to the Holy Spirit. You have to surrender. You have to surrender to everything around you, your life, everything. Everything that's going on in your life. If it seems to be bad, if it seems to be, you know, we can't just call on the Holy Spirit when things are bad. We have to call on the Holy Spirit 24/7. When things are bad and when things are good. When things are good, you know, you still call on the Holy Spirit. Don't just let things, don't just call on the Holy Spirit when things are just bad, because that's not good. You need the Holy Spirit 24/7. 24/7, you need the Holy Spirit. So we can't just call on the Holy Spirit just only when things are bad. It has to be good as well. And we have to give gratitude, you know, and give gratitude for the smallest things. Give gratitude for the smallest things, you know. You wake up in the morning, or you wake up in the evening, or you wake up in the night, you know, at night, you know, whether you're working at night or whether you're working in the evening or you're working in the morning, you get to wake up. You get to be here on this earth and experience the life of human, a human life. You get to experience the human life. You know, I would think that I wasn't, I don't, my experience here on this earth, my experience is not a human life experience. It's a spiritual life experience for me. So we all have our reasons for being here on this earth. Your reasons is to find out what that reason is. And the only way you can do that is just to surrender. Free yourself. You're the only one that's holding yourself back. You have to surrender yourself to the Holy Spirit. Otherwise, you won't ever find out what your purpose is and why you're here. And I'm just being honest. You have to free yourself. And this is how I did. This is how I found myself. This is how I found the Holy Spirit. Is I have to free myself. I have to let go. I have to let everything go. I mean, of course, I was in a time in my life that, you know, my ex left me, you know, and left me in an apartment, you know, and all these different debts that I had to pay, you know. She walked out on me, but all because um, she thought the grass was greener on the other side. She wanted marriage, and I didn't want it at the time because I was trying to find myself. But the more my vibrational frequency rose, and the more I got to know who I was, and the more spiritual things start happening to me, is when I knew that she wasn't for me, because I was growing and she was steady staying at the same frequency, and I was steady climbing and climbing and climbing. Finally, Spirit just broke it off. And this is when it came to me finding out who I was and why was I sitting here. And I was blessed and lucky that my best friend allowed me to come and live with her for 6 months in the country, because it was super easy. Beforehand, I was already meditating before I left Las Vegas and came to Texas. I was already meditating, but my awareness wasn't as it should have been. But the first night, that first day I went there, I went into the room, I sat down, and I just sat there, sat on the edge of the bed, practicing my breathing. Anytime my mind roamed, I would go back to the breathing. Anytime my mind would roam, I would go back to the breathing. Any negative thought, that's not my thought. Please forgive me. Holy Spirit, please forgive me for that thought process. It's not my process. It's not my thought process. Go back to the breathing. Breathe in through your stomach, out through the nose. Breathe in through your nose, out from the stomach, out through your nose. You breathe in and out through your nose, not in and out through your mouth. Not through your nose and then out through your mouth, no. You breathe in through your nose, comes back up, out through your nose. You see what I'm saying? 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000. Let it go. Breathe in again. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000. Let it go. But just continue doing that breathing. And before I even started doing Qigong, breathing, I learned how to breathe. And it took, I had been breathing this way for a year, practicing to breathe from my stomach. Now it's just natural that I breathe from my stomach. A lot of people breathe from their chest, from their lungs. Anytime I breathe from my lungs, it hurts. But breathing from my stomach, that's how I learned how to breathe. I learned how to breathe through my stomach. Every once in a while, it'll be a little bit of air going in my lungs, but not enough that it will hurt me. And that's because my lungs haven't been used in over 8 years. Around 7, 8 years. Yeah, I would say around 6 or 7 years, something like that. But I learned how to breathe from my stomach, and I will practice it every single day. Every day, I practice it for an entire year until I was just naturally doing it. So this is the breathing exercises that I had to learn how to do, was breathe through my stomach and not through my lungs. So, and now it's easier for me to breathe from my stomach versus my lungs. But that is a breathing exercise. It took me up to a year to literally start breathing on my own through my stomach. And sometimes when I take my mind off of it, my mind is not on breathing. And then all of a sudden my mind will go to my stomach, and I would see myself breathing from my stomach. You see what I'm saying? And then just throw everything off. And then once I just try to take my mind off breathing, I'll start breathing intentionally through my stomach. Then once I take my mind off of it, then it goes back to normal where I'm breathing from my stomach and not really realizing it. But these things are really, really important. That alone time is so important and so significant for your growth, your spiritual growth, and your vibrational frequency growth. We don't have to be in a relationship. We don't have to be in some kind of entangled web with people. We don't have to lay down with every person that we see or that we meet, because you're building up contracts. But you're also building up karma. And not only that, you are building up attachments and the partner's attachments, because they may have something attached to them that may attach itself to you. So it's really, really important that you learn how to love yourself first, and the spirit will bring the right person to you. I yet to have found that. And I don't think I will, because I'm not here for a human experience. I'm here for a spiritual experience. I'm here for spiritual work, not human experience, not human interaction. I'm not here for human interaction. and especially when it comes on a mating level or a so-called relationship level, because I recognize the pattern throughout my entire life of dating that every relationship ended the exact same way. This is how I was awakened to realize what was going on. So, this is why I'm saying what I'm saying. You have to love yourself first before you can love someone else. You have to take the time out for yourself and work on yourself and heal yourself before you can move on to try to love someone else. You have to pamper yourself. You have to know yourself. If you can't know yourself, how are you going to know someone else? So, which means you have to know your spirit and you have to know your higher self. Your higher self will let you know if that is your partner, if that is your twin flame, if that is your soulmate. Your higher self will let you know that. The Holy Spirit will let you know that, because this Holy Spirit would be within you. So, this is why being alone is so, so important. Having that alone time, if you have children, having that alone time, at least that hour, for an hour of meditation and grounding and stuff like that. Having that time to clear your head is a really good thing. And I'm being honest, I love being alone. I really, really do. I love being alone. Because when I'm alone and I'm not being bothered, I'm in my own world. Things come to you, you know. Things just come to you when you're alone. These are the times that Spirit can speak to you. This is the time the Holy Spirit can speak to you when you're alone. But when you're bombarded with children, and and I'm not saying anything is wrong with children, I'm saying you need that hour alone, whether you're male or female. You're in a relationship, you're in a happy relationship, you still need that time alone. Everyone needs that time alone to recharge themselves. And I already said, you're barefoot to the grass. Even if you don't want to go barefoot, you can still wear your socks and you're still connected to the ground. The only thing that disconnect people from the ground is the rubber soles on your shoes. That is what disconnects you. This is what stops lightning from striking you when you're on the grass, on the ground. Is that rubber sole that's in your shoes. Other than that, you have socks on, you walk on the grass, you're still connected to the earth. At this point, yeah, you could be hit by lightning. But being alone is great. It really is. But if you're in a relationship, you have to establish boundaries. And if you're in the beginning of a relationship, you definitely have to establish boundaries that you must have so many hours alone. You have to have your time, which I would say me time. You see what I'm saying? That way you do not burn yourself out. And that way you're doing self-care. And that way, whenever you come back to your relationship, you're refreshed, you're recharged. You won't be so uptight with the children. You won't be so angry. You know, you won't be so quick to get upset. But this ends my video. Hopefully someone received a message Um, but this is about taking care of yourself, self-care. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you're gonna burn out, and at that point, your vibrational frequency will drop. You won't, you won't be at a function level, and it's not viable. At that point, you're subject to attack in every different direction. And the main object of the game here is to stay at a high frequency, and especially of the times today. Staying at a high frequency at the times today is what's really, really important. When you're at a low frequency, that's no bueno, because you're going to get attacked from every angle. Every angle. It's going to be in your dreams. It's going to be um, out in public. It's going to be your children. It's going to be your husband. It's going to be your girlfriend. It's going to be your boyfriend. It's going to be your wife. I mean, you're going to get attacked. It's going to be your friends. It's going to be your family. It's going to be your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your aunt. You're going to get attacked. Even your closest friends. So to rid that is to take the time of self-care. That's what's important. Knowing what you need to do when it comes to self-care. This is how you becoming. And self-awareness is the biggest thing, like I said. Learning about who you are, being self-aware. Being self-aware of how you think, being self-aware of what's around you. And I mean, I know you can look out and see everything around you, but we're talking about what you cannot see. This is the awareness I'm talking about. Being aware of your surroundings. It's not just what you can see with your physical eyes, it's what you can't see with your physical eyes. It's what you can't see with your physical eyes, because when you know that there is a demonic presence around, or you know that there is some kind of spirit, like Jezebel, or if there is a Nephilim spirit, or whether there is a reptilian spirit, draconian spirit, and when you know there's a different element around you, and at this point is when you need to, meditate and push these things away by learning how to protect yourself. Align your windows with salt. Align every door. Like take a pinch of salt on every corner of the door. Put a pinch of salt in each corner of the door. Your window, if you have a window, put salt in your window. Put salt across your closet doors or whatever. Put salt at your front door, so that way energy can't come in, negative energy can't follow you in. If there is some type of attachment that tries to attach itself to you, you have to do things to protect yourself too and shield yourself. And I'm going to tell you, Shungite is one of the things that you need. Um, um, what is it called? You also can have selenite. Selenite is another thing. Put it in your windowsill. Um, There's another stone that they have, and it breaks apart very easy. It's black stone. Can't remember what it's called, but um, can't think of the name of the other stone. But another thing to shield your room. You have to shield your room or shield your house with salt. You know, sea salt. Not regular salt, sea salt. Sea salt is okay, but it won't last that long. And every week you switch the salt out and put out new salt. But sea salt will last a long time. If you can find some black sea salt, native black sea salt, it's even better. Um, but these are the things that you need to shield yourself, and then to protect your space and protect your home. Sea salt is the best thing that you can use. Um, but I'm gonna end this here. I think I'm talking a little bit too much. Um, thank you all for listening and watching and liking. Like, subscribe, share. Each one teach one. Until next time, ancestor of the Carian race and Lyran race, Lion of Judah, out.